Good evening. Over his spectacular career, Judge Greg Mathis, through his talents and influence, has made a positive difference in the lives of so many people by seeking justice for those in need. He enrolled in the University of Detroit School of Law in 1983 and joined the staff of Detroit City Councilman Clyde Cleveland after he graduated in 1988. During this time, Judge Mathis expanded his work as an advocate for equal justice through the Reverend Jesse Jackson Push Excel program. Judge Mathis remains committed to these efforts and currently serves as chair of their board. In 1995, Judge Mathis was elected to the Michigan 36th District Court, where he continued his outreach to youth and ex-offenders both in and outside the courtroom. During this time, he opened the Mathis Community Center in Detroit, providing space and programs for the area's young people. He also founded Young Adults Asserting Themselves, a nonprofit agency that provides career opportunities, job training, advice on starting a business, and college enrollment assistance to community residents. Aside from hosting the long-running syndicated TV courtroom show, Judge Mathis, which is in its 20th year, he continues to serve the communities by serving on the National NAACP board and the board of the Morehouse College of Medicine. Please join me in congratulating and welcoming Judge Mathis.
Thank you. You know, last night they hosted a reception at the law school where I attended, and they were brave enough to allow me to speak without prepared remarks. And what was to be 5 minutes turned into 50 minutes. So I brought a few acknowledgments and 2 sentences. So we're going to be short and concise. But let me thank President Garibaldi. We're so fortunate to have him here. His presence and the skill and talent he has brought to University Detroit Mercy and the community in general has really added value to our city, and we thank God for him, and he continues, and he is symbolic of the commitment to diversity here at the University of Detroit Mercy community, and we thank God for him. Give him a hand, please. And of course, Dean Crocker is one who is doing a great job at the law school. I hear much about the activities at the law school when some of the young people call me, and some of my alumni associates also call and keep me informed. And I think I've been there a time or two to lecture prior to Dean Crocker's arrival, and then hope to participate a little more. But give her a hand, Dean Crocker from the law school, University of Detroit Mercy Law School. I also brought some friends and family with me. The most important family member, of course, would be my beautiful wife, Linda. If you turn the lights on, you'll know how beautiful she is, but she's beautiful in the dark. We met in college, an undergrad at Eastern Michigan, and I attended there from 78 to 83, and University of Detroit Law, 83 to the middle of 87, and they graduated me. I didn't take 6 years in law school, as some might suspect. I went to the night program, working down at City Hall from 83 through my graduation in late 87. And so prior to that, I had met my lovely wife at Eastern, and she had dreams of being a school teacher, and she began her career at Bates Academy and then spun off a chain of preschools and having educated thousands of young people, but particularly our 4 children who she nurtured and taught and educated so well. Linda Mathis, give her a big hand. You know, I was very inspired to come to the University of Detroit School of Law once I was admitted because I had a fine example of a close and perhaps my closest role and strongest role model who grew up in the household with me was also a University of Detroit alumnus. I can recall him studying all the time. He'd leave the house. We were in the Herman Gardens housing project, and many of the kids and young people his age were running wild, doing some everything, and he was studying all the time. When he graduated from Mackenzie High, he came here, and quite frankly, I kind of resented this university for many years, but I was a young man. I said, they took my brother away. He leaves at 8 a.m. and he never comes back until 11 p.m. But 4 years later, I also saw the executives at General Motors come to our house, and the executives from Ford Motor Company come to our house, the executives from many other multinational corporations recruiting him to be with their corporation. He became an executive of General Motors, and once again, a great role model for me. He helped me sign into college, and he's always been an inspiration. Ron Gaines, my brother, give him a big hand. He's over at this table. One of my mentors, he was perhaps one of the first role models of mine as a judge. Time I left undergrad. Give him a hand. Judge Craig Strong is with us tonight. He's been a strong supporter and a mentor of mine. Likewise, one of our other alumni is here with us. He's a community leader for many decades here, perhaps, Chief, I don't want to say half a century, so I'm going to just say many decades, because you did remind me you were 39. So that's 3 decades. Okay, he's been a community leader since he was 9 years old. And some of that community leadership, and we thank God, was here at the University of Detroit Mercy, where he oversaw the security detail and the law enforcement community here, and then went on to become Detroit's police chief and then Detroit's deputy mayor. And he's always been a supporter of mine, and I love the leadership, and I love him. He's such a great guy with a great temperament that many of us can learn from. Great values and great temperament and great commitment to himself, to his family, to his community, and of course to University of Detroit Mercy. Give Ike McKinnon a big hand. He and his wife, Mrs. McKinnon, are with us this evening. We also have a dear friend, one of my dearest friends, he and his wife. He's also a chief. I hang around a lot of the chiefs because you never know when you might need one. And Chief Turner is with the Sheriff's Office. He's the Wayne County Chief of Staff to Sheriff Napoleon, and one of my dearest friends. He and his wife are here today, Mike Turner and Cheryl Turner. Give them a big hand. Lastly, I have some lifelong friends who are here with me today. One being Mr. Choi Solomon, who runs my community center, it's a Mathis Family Community Center. He runs our community center, does a great job. I've known him for 50 years, and he's a dear friend and always has been. Give him a hand. Solomon, where you at? I think he's over there. Then I have a group of friends who are here I've also known since first grade, and they're all here with us today, and I thank God for them. We have Hope, we have Venus, we have several other friends, Pierre and Aaron, and I'm probably missing one or two. Forgive me if I am. And I thank God for such committed friends who would come some 50 years later to show their friendship and love for me. Lastly, well, we've been friends all 50 years, but began 50 years and still with me. Lastly, my attorney, who has represented me and my family for so many years, even prior to becoming a lawyer. In fact, he helped me to become a lawyer. I thank God that the University of Detroit School of Law admitted me under the conditional program during the diversity initiative of the 80s. And during that time, they accepted me even though I had a blemish on my record. and not talking about school record either. So I was very grateful for that, and I still am. And my classmate there, once I graduated, had to help me get my law license because the Character and Fitness Division of the State Bar denied me, even though my record had been expunged as a young adult. And lastly, he had to take me through 3 years of appeals, and the final appeal being to the state Supreme Court, where we won our right to practice law. He's been my attorney ever since. I don't do anything special unless I call him, but he calls me quite a bit and tells me things I've done wrong, and I don't believe I do. I believe that's billing those hours. Nonetheless, I love him dearly. That's why I can talk about him like this. Clarence Tucker, he's back there with us. He's here today. Thank you, Clarence, for all your help. And to all our alumnus and to the awardees tonight, let me say once again, I am proud to have been a student and to be an alumni here. And you taught me so much about public service. The history of the Jesuit community is all about public service, and perhaps that's what generated much of the passion that I have for public service. And thank God for the diversity initiative that has allowed someone such as myself through the gates. You never know who you're allowing through those doors. Sometimes it can turn out good and turn out bad. You all make your decision as to how it turned out with me. But I thank you all. Thank you, President. Thank you, Madam Dean. Thank you all. God bless you.